Alright, so we're back in the world of Path of Exile 2, and today, guys, I'm going to be giving you guys the update for the Mercenary Explosive Shot build. If you didn't watch my last video, because it was like a brief video, I want to give you guys an update because I told you there was going to be some drastic changes coming to the build, and we've had a lot of time, you can probably tell. We're able to not only level a Witchhunter, as I told you I would do, but we were able to surpass our old Witchhunter. We're level 85 now, pushing towards 90 if we can within the next day or so. And so we've put a lot of effort into making another character and pushing them. And we're going to continue the build on this character. You also probably noticed that my attire is fairly different because we have made a massive swap towards energy shield evasion. I explained this briefly in the last video. But I'm going to explain it in more in depth in this video because there's been another update, development, whatever you want to call it, that's super important. But yeah, I'm gonna jump in. We're gonna go right to the passive tree because the passive tree is the most important thing to talk about in this video today. We're gonna still cover the rest of them, but I just want you to be sure, I just want you guys to know that if you are impatient, I would highly recommend at the very least watch this part of the passive tree video and then skip ahead after, because it's super important and it takes time to explain it, and I want to make sure you understand it. So make sure you watch this part because I don't necessarily want to write all this in the comment section because a lot of you tend to ask the same questions I explained a lot in the video. But yeah, this is super important, so make sure you watch it. Okay, no stalling. Let's talk about it. So you will notice a massive change in the tree where we shifted away from our side over here over to energy shield area. The reason for this was because, as I explained in the video yesterday or the day before, was that there is a very big imbalance in armor versus things like energy shield and life. Well, life and armor versus energy shield. And because of this inherently make mercenary as a whole one of the worst classes in my opinion to play from a defensive standpoint, because defense is really terrible. Gemling or Witchhunter, it doesn't matter. Witchhunter upside is he has a lot of damage, but defenses, he's bad. Defenses on the Gemling, no matter what you tell me, is bad. The extra res is okay, but res isn't going to kill you. It's physical and just overwhelming damage and other things. But yeah, anyway, long story short, I feel that this class right now is probably one of the hardest to play, and picking something else is objectively better because of the armor and life situation that is super bad in Path of Exile. I'm still going to play it because I like this class, and I'm not going to just go run and do something else just because it gets hard, but just want to point that out. Now, why is Mercenary objectively one of the worst classes to play right now? The main reason is because they're hybrid evasion armor. A lot of the nodes that he wants to take is hybrid for defense, is armor evasion, and as you can see, you generally want to pick armor evasion as your tree because it's plentiful here. And if you don't, your next form of defense will be armor here or energy shield evasion here. You get enough evasion that you know, dipping over here isn't a big deal, but armor is. Well, energy shield is. So let's first talk about, what should we talk about, why? So first off, armor as a whole, Kriparian did a recent video like 2 or 3 hours before I'm recording this video where he did a part 2 explaining the armor. Essentially, before we thought armor was really bad because it could mitigate a certain amount of damage, but after looking at the armor formula from people just doing the math, it was significantly worse than we initially thought. For example, if you have, I believe it was 20,000 armor, if one of the in-game bosses, this is an in-game build, hit you, with the recent numbers that we saw, it would only mitigate 25% of the damage from a hit. Now keep in mind, we are a hybrid evasion armor ascendancy, and because of that, we're probably not likely to get as much armor as someone like a warrior, for example. We would get the evasion, but a lot of times they're ground slams, those things are going to hit you, it's going to kill you. The other thing is, because they put no life on the tree besides one singular node, and they put a mountain of energy and shield over here, an egregious amount with only a singular life node, you need armor and life because that's how it works. You need armor to complement life. Since there's no life, you could in theory overstack armor, but since armor is so bad, you can't overstack it, so you don't have much defense, so I'm forced to go over here. Now let's pretend like that is the only problem. From a mercenary standpoint, you have a ton of conditional bullshit like this, where if you evade a melee attack, or if you're at low life, you get increased armor evasion. Like you're gonna fucking die at low life, by the way. Impenetrable shell. You need to be something needs to be 6 meters away. So you have a ton of not only some of the worst defense, armor evasion, mainly armor, because and you're splitting that. You also have conditional defense. Dumb shit conditional defense like this, as to where things like energy shield just gives you a ton of energy shield. There's no condition behind it. You just get it and you're just more defensive. So that's another imbalance that needs to be addressed. And the other thing, specifically with the Witchhunter, and again, this doesn't necessarily apply to the Gemling, but he just doesn't have any defense either, besides the max res, but it's whatever. When you have things like Obsessive Ritual, for example, this gives you a less multiplier. This is a multiplier. Less means multiply, or is a multiplier rather. So it's a 50% less multiplier, meaning armor evasion is significantly worse, essentially devaluing nodes like this one. You know, your ascendancy node, the thing that's supposed to make you more powerful, is going to give you increased armor, not more, but increased, and then instantly you're going to take a node right after it that's going to give you a less multiplier of armor evasion, which is blows my mind. And then your defensive mechanic, Sorcery Ward, for example, scales off of, 30% of your armor evasion. So your barrier is based on some of the worst defenses in the entire game, which is armor and evasion. And since you're an armor evasion area, and your armor is deplorable compared to an egregious amount of armor, 20k is not an amount of armor you will ever get on a Witchhunter, even with Iron Reflex. It's not happening, which will only mitigate probably 25% of the damage. To put that in perspective, your ascendancy devalues your next point, which it becomes a negative. This becomes useless or less effective, and then your major defense is scaled off of some of the worst defense in the game. So that's the gravity of the situation. I wanted to put that in perspective so you can understand why we're building this way, because honestly, Mercenary just sucks. Not from like what he does, but from the armor evasion nonsense. And now, because of these inadequacies that they may address, who knows, you have to go over here to solve for it with evasion energy shield, which means all these extra travel nodes cuts into your points, which cuts into your damage, which cuts into you being able to effectively kill bosses. Hence why we switched to a Witchhunter, because he is very good at dealing damage. But even with him being very good at dealing damage, he has no defense, just like the Gemling. And so you're I'm just trying to solve for a problem that I don't think I can solve for. I mean, I'm just being real with you guys. I don't think I can solve for this problem. This is just a grinding gear games need to balance the game to be effective problem. So long story short, I'm gonna just go over the passive tree now that you guys understand what we're doing here and trying to make something that's probably can't be fixed work. But yeah, we'll go over it quickly here. And then there's still some more stuff that you should pay attention to, but yeah, this is the major point. Took all the projectile damage here, took Remorseless, came down here, grabbed the attack stuff. We're really shredding our points because we need to use so many for travel nodes. Came over here, we can't even get the reload stuff because we just can't afford it for defense. We gained Elemental, Emboldened Avatar. This is actually really important. Force of Nature, this is going to give you pin on all your Elemental. This is going to give you build up, so it makes it easier for you to get your heralds to work for you. Came down here, grabbed all the attack speed, grabbed all the bow stuff here for the reload and stuff like that. And then over here, we're actually experimenting, and I think this is actually really good. This is like damage against uniques and rares. We still do really good damage against rares, but just keep in mind, like, my tree is like super juicing everything. Like, all the footage you're gonna see is not just me throwing in a very specific tier 15 that's easy so it looks good for the video. It's just whatever I have. All my monsters are juiced to have them like the mutation that makes them tougher. Like I can kill everything. The unique bosses can still be a little bit hard. We still have a lot of damage that we can do on this tree, so it's fine. But yeah, we went with Giant Slayer so we can help with that damage. But yeah, that's what we have with that. Grab all this area of effect stuff and grab this stun build up stuff, because I think the perfect opportunity is super good. Grab that. And then over here, we path and grab this projectile damage and stun build up, because again, I like to stun. Path these nodes for the attack speed as well as the move speed stuff. Came over here, got a ton of int, and grabbed the subterfuge mask for some much needed defense, dexterity, int, move speed, mana regen, faster recharge. We grab the mindful awareness, grab the flow like water, and then we make sure to get the skill speed because the invoker, which is one of the more effective classes in the game, or the monk, not only has energy shield and evasion, the probably best defense in the game, he also has some of the few nodes that have skill speed. He gets tons of damage, and that's why he's so strong, by the way. We grab some of this stuff for more energy shield armor. I mean, energy evasion. We don't do armor around here. And then we're about to go grab this one, which should give us more energy shield. That's where we're sitting at 1,900 HP and 900 energy shield. We can probably get this to like 4K total once we clean up. Maybe not. It'll probably be like 3.5K. Maybe a little more. We'll see. Once we min-max a little bit more. But this is how the build is coming along. Really wish I didn't have to waste a lot of points going over here, but it's still better than just taking armor. Like it just that's sad. It's just better to be inefficient on your pathing and take this stuff than just taking armor, because you're just gonna die because armor is ass. Anyway, that is the passage tree. Oh, for this we took Pitiless Killer, Judgery Executioner, Zealous Inquisition, and then I don't know what I'm gonna take on the fourth one, because the weapon set is okay. I don't think this is even worth taking defensively, and the concentration stuff seems kind of a meme. I don't know. I'll think about it. We'll probably end up taking Ritual because maybe they fix it, but feels kind of bad. Witchhunter is great though. I'm not saying Witchhunter is bad, because these nodes are super hard carrying. It's just the rest of his stuff is kind of meme shit, and Gemling is not much better. But yeah, that's the energy shield evasion situation. Let's move on to our gear. We'll talk about the gear next, because that has undergone another massive change that is important that you need to see too, because there's another imbalance in the game that needs to be addressed if you're not keeping up, and that is item rarity. Long story short, if you are a player who doesn't have item rarity on your gear, you essentially miss out on tons of currency. If you've ever looked at a player who is like closer to the end game and maybe play a lot more than you, and they're in the top percentile, the reason why they have significantly, egregiously amount more content, money than you, currency than you, is because item rarity. Item rarity in Path of Exile 1 at one point functioned as giving you increased like rarity towards your drops. At that time, and this is kind of why I didn't even like use it here. They removed it because a lot of players felt that it was forcing you into a very particular style of build, and because of that they removed it. In Path of Exile 2 they decided that they wanted to bring it back, and as you could probably tell, is forcing players to want to lean towards item rarity, because essentially getting 100 item rarity or more is going to increase your currency by such a big margin that you're kind of just wasting your time. And that's why you'll see something like the Deadeye, for example, be played so heavily in the top percentile, because their their energy shield evasion, right, the issue we just talked about, their ascendancy is imbalanced in my opinion compared to something like the Merc. Like they have the ability to get Tailwind, which gives them move speed and evasion with no downside. They get extra projectiles with no downside, despite everything else having a downside for some reason. Like essentially any class over here in this area has a downside when they click their ascendancy nodes. Anything over here tends to have nothing but positives and or no downside for clicking their nodes, to add to their energy shield problem. So it's just like, you're not going to pick a Merc when you can pick something so much better. Balance. Like balance is atrocious in Path of Exile. Almost the worst balance I've seen in a game in a very long time. It's early access, so it's fine, but just saying. Anyway, the newest additions that we made is we add the Morar Invictus Grand Regalia. This gives armor, this gives evasion, this gives energy shield. This gives me slots that give me item rarity whenever I put them inside of my put slots inside of the gear. I got this one for 2 divine, because when I started adding item rarity to my gear, I started getting divine drops pretty regularly. So I was able to buy this for, I believe, 2 or 3 divine day 1 with item rarity change. This is going to give you a good amount of armor, which armor is okay against small hits. We still have 14% armor, 72% evasion. Actually didn't cover this, but yeah. We still can reduce some damage there. So it's okay in small forms, I think. And then we have evasion, so that's going to help us a lot. 72% evasion, we're going to be pushing it more. And then we have 900 ES, almost 2,000 life. So we're fairly defensive. I'm not going to tell you need to get this, because you don't. I would just highly recommend you get something with item rarity on it. Like one affix with item rarity on it. I just have to adjust for what the game is right now. And what it is right now is poorly balanced, in my opinion. So, you know, we gotta do what we gotta do. I'm not gonna tell you that it's gonna be here. Like after I put this video out, maybe the first when they come back from their vacation, they may change it. Who knows? After I post this video, this could change. So change your gear at your own risk. I play a lot, and so I'm gonna obviously change because I'm gonna get benefit from it. But yeah, I want to be very clear on that and cautious. I want you to be cautious when you decide to make a change. That this very well could, they could very well, hey, we made a mistake on the armor. We're gonna fix it. Item rarity is going back to what it was, and then this gear becomes instantly useless. I don't care personally because I'm just playing the damn game anyway. Don't matter to me. But long story short, you may like just be careful. All right. Anyway, for our boots, move speed, life, item rarity, resistances. It's literally what I say in every video. Move speed, life. This time we're adding we're adding item rarity essentially. For our gloves, life, evasion, resistances, item rarity. We don't have much more gear than that because again I just swapped to it. I made this character 2 days ago. I don't have a lot of time on him. We still have our rings. They're not great. About to go buy some. They're not great. Resistances. There should be item rarity, resistance, life, the whole thing. Same with our necklace, except for maybe spirit. I would argue you may want to get spirit. I would recommend getting like 30 spirit on your amulet if you can. But you're essentially going to follow the same thing. Helmet, still using the 3 dragons that we had. Gonna continue to use it because this is what procs the lightning effects and really nice. And then for our bow, we're still using that bow we had on the gemling. 430% fizz at the top, 38% fizz. Want a better bow with plus skills if possible. Drad bow is ideal to load the additional bolt to make it easier to fire. But yeah, this is essentially it. I use a thawing charm, reduce charge use while increase amount recovered. Kind of the same thing on this one, except for instant. And then yeah, we're probably gonna get a new belt first because our belt is kind of ass. But yeah, that is the changes. Oh, by the way, I want to add one thing about item rarity. That's super important. You can see here I got almost 1 million gold. I farmed this all the last couple of hours. Item rarity is so egregiously powerful that I get so many rares constantly now. I get so much rare gear. I get so much currency. I can just buy stuff. So it's super it's noticeable and it's very impactful. So I would highly recommend that you pick it up unless they make a change. I don't know. You have to weigh your own risk, but it's really nice. On our things, we didn't change too much. We just added some stuff. Explosive shot has the same link. We just corrupted it. We're gonna get a 6th link eventually, but we just have to fix our gear first. Scatter shot, martial tempos, heft. Some of you said fire infusion wasn't that great. Haven't really tested it. Fire infusion gives me most damage. There's room for more improvement, but it's been pretty good. Oil grenade, magnitude effect, a magnified effect rather. Aim, encumbrance. These two worked really well together. Almost slows them to a halt. Super nice. Herald of Ash with cannibalism. Herald of Thunder by itself. When we get more spirit, we're going to be taking Ghost Dance. This is going to, whenever we get hit, it's going to give us Ghost Shroud over time. Whenever we get hit, it'll give us a portion of energy shield based on our evasion. And since we're scaling evasion and energy shield, we have like, I don't know how much evasion we got. Almost 8,000 evasion. We'll get a lot of shield back, basically. Helps us stay alive. We have Wind Dancer for the state, and then we qualityed this first because we wanted to make sure that we get the extra stage for evasion. And then Ignition. I don't know why I have this here. Just random ignition here. Ignore it. And then overwhelming presence, this is going to make it easier for them to be susceptible to being stunned, which we do a lot of, as well as their ailment threshold, which we, once again, do a lot of. We want to inflict ailments. That is overall the changes. Ghost Shroud will be up and running the next time you see an update. I know I told you guys this was going to be the last update video, but obviously with the game changing so drastically and I had to make drastic changes so it's good, we're probably going to have like 2 more build videos. I don't like milking build videos. I feel kind of bad doing that. And I like to play other characters, but I don't leave anything unfinished. Anything else I'm missing? Besides that, that's pretty much it. Have any questions? Feel free to leave them down below. I did a full leveling on the Merc on the channel. I think I did it in one sitting, so if you want to watch a 13-hour run, you could go watch that. Don't forget to like as well as sub to the channel. Starting next year, we're going to be covering some other variety of games in conjunction with Path of Exile. Is that the right word? I'm very tired, but Path of Exile 2 will be here, but we're going to be playing a lot of other games, so maybe subscribe for that if you want to see like Dynasty Warriors and I don't know, Monster Hunter and stuff like that. We're going to be covering it. But yeah, thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next one very soon. Bye-bye.